game change, I'm here to restore order. New school and old school, I'm here to connect the border. Real hip-hop is just trying to bring that feeling back. I'm a fan of the culture, so for real I be missing that. When you had to really rap, when you said you could spit a rap. Trash, you get nothing. If you hot, then you get it dap. Bronx the birthplace of the legendary genre. August 11 is the date, really you should honor. Important date, if you don't know about it, it's a problem. It happens to be the date that hip-hop was started. KRS-One said bring it to the cipher. Coogee Rap, taking the war, that was fire. Rakim, I ain't no joke, was on the lineup. Jada and Nate Dogg.
What's going on? It's your boy, the Joker, over the FC Live here on the Evening Rush Network, man, on the Underground Lounge. You know what I mean? Here with us, a major special guest, man. We're going to get into good conversation into mental health, our life story, and also get into some hip-hop, as he's a hip-hop historian, you know what I'm saying? We're going to get into that in the second half of the show. But now we don't waste no time, man. I got my brother right here. He's a coach. He's a mentor. He is a teacher. He got mad degrees right now. He's in college right now, going for his PhD, doing big things out there in Texas. We pretty much pre-grew up together, I should say. And I mean, he's a good friend of mine, a brother. All day, I could tell him, I could call him my brother every day, all day. My man, Coach G, is in the building. What's going on, family?
Hello. How you doing? Thank you for those kind words. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, man. You definitely been putting in that work. We was talking backstage before we got live, and then those who just tuning in, make sure y'all let us know what you hitting up from. Give your shout outs and all that good stuff. All the people that's tuning in on Facebook, on the YouTube, and Even Rush Network, and all of that, man. We appreciate y'all. We on all the platforms right now. We on iHeartRadio. We on Spotify. We on Tidal. We on Fire Stick right now. We all over the world right now, and all the platforms, man, including YouTube, Facebook, and all that good stuff. So we're going to get right into the conversation with Coach G in the building right here, man. We've been a long time since we talked. He always supported what I got going on. I always supported what he got going on. And we're going to get right into it, man. And let's get right into it, man, with your story, man, because you have an amazing story that I want people to understand and know. I think you can help a lot of people out on this platform on your story. I know a little bit of it, being in placement homes with you. And we definitely built a bond in basketball, music, culture, Black history, hip hop, and all that. So let people know a little bit about your story.
Well, thank you for that introduction. Well, let me just say this, and I'm going to try to keep it as brief as possible because I'm an old man, and so you know how it can get. But actually, my story started before I was even born. Started 15 years before I was born. I found out a couple of years ago when I did my ancestry, and then I was introduced to my family. My aunt revealed to me that my grandfather, unfortunately, ended the lives of multiple people. He killed multiple people. In doing that, he attempted to kill my grandmother and my mother. If he would have been successful, I wouldn't have been born. He did what he did. He ended up fleeing, going to jail. That affected my family horribly. My mother ended up developing schizophrenia. She would unfortunately be victim of an assault, which I was the result of. I was the result of a sexual assault. And so after that happened, I was born prematurely, had some health issues. She relinquished me at 2 years old. And then at that point, I'm in and out of the foster care system. I was in 5 placements. One of my placements was so bad. Get this, I was adopted. They were abusive. Their rights were terminated. You usually don't terminate on adoptive parents. So their rights were terminated. I was given back to the system, had a couple of failed adoptions, a couple more foster homes, and then of course the group home, which we met, and then I was playing soccer at that time. And I developed a love for it, a passion for it. And then I ended up playing select elite with the Delaware Soccer Club. And then I continued with the training and all of that. Ended up playing a little bit of soccer at Texas A&M International in Laredo. But the one consistent thing through all of this, through my whole story, was that education was the key to keeping me out of trouble.
Yeah.
I went to Hutch Tech High School in Buffalo, New York.
Yeah.
When I was living in Geneseo, New York, I was still focused on my education. I was playing soccer there, playing a little bit of basketball, but I was always focused on my education and trying to just do something better. And then, as you know, I got involved with a little bit of, learning about Malcolm X.
Yeah.
And that's what got me as far as helping me learning about mental health and getting myself in a better position. Through all of this, yes, I struggled. I went to a few different colleges before I ended up in TAMU in Laredo playing soccer.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing was the consistency, was the education.
Right.
I became a student of Malcolm X and his speeches and his works.
Yeah.
And as I learned and researched what Malcolm X did, I realized that as a Black man, I need to learn more about myself, my history, to understand where I came from, to help others move forward. Then I used soccer as a means, as my outlet, but I also used therapy to figure things out, because a lot of times, therapy is used as a weapon. Yeah. But I got the right therapist, learned about the condition that I was diagnosed with, which I have no problem talking about, reactive attachment disorder, where you're placed in different homes and your caregivers are different people. How can you bond? As human beings, we bond. Yep. And so that was my biggest issue. And so I used that, harnessed that, then focused on a sport, soccer, developed a love and a passion for it. Yeah. And so now I have this Vivien FC Fitness, which is a platform which I use as I give speeches, I do mentorship, but I also train people in soccer, train kids. The organization is just beginning. I've been giving speeches and talking to people all over Texas, and I have a YouTube channel with my Coach G podcast. But a lot of what I do is centered on focusing on the individual, focusing on your needs. Soccer is kind of my thing to get you in, but then also my story. But you have a story. Everybody has a story. But we also need an outlet in order to deal with our stress.
But your story is definitely touching. Because I remember when we was in the group home, we connected, like a lot of our peers connected different. We was different, you know what I'm saying? And even some of the people that was in the group home had different lanes that we could just fit in because of our background. And the only thing different was that you were very intelligent in all different perspectives. And I respected that about you. But I knew I had a learning disability. I knew something wasn't right with me. And at that time, I felt that the therapist at Baker Hall at that time wasn't that good. But I think the counseling part of it, I didn't trust nobody. You know what I mean? I was very, I was open to people like you and a couple other people. Even some of my peers outside of the placement couldn't understand why I was in the placement home and that nature. And I never really talked to everybody about where I come from. But I did understand there was some staff members there that would look like me and came from where I came from, and out of Buffalo, east side of Buffalo. That helped out a lot because they understood where I come from and they knew some of my family members. So that made me more comfortable to be open. But then when you do that, they spill the beans in your business, and then that cuts that down. I'm back to that, and that anger. I had anger issues. I had mental health issues. I had a temper. I really was unbalanced in all different ways.
And I always remember you never lost your temper with me. I always remember we never got into a fight. We never had a problem. Never. Because you was the one I could come to. Like I remember some days when you used to have soccer practice, you had after school programs where you didn't even come home until like 9-ish sometimes. Yeah. You know what I mean? And then me, I had to find different ways because I got along with a lot of people there, but I didn't get along as far as my mental side. I got along with people as far as we had to, but watch TV, play a little bit of pool, ping pong downstairs, clean up, do basic stuff, play basketball. We did those things, but that wasn't enough. Right. You needed a connection. You needed an actual connection, not just the activity.
Right.
And that's why I say the activity, of soccer or whatever it is you do. You get them in, but you build a relationship. And that's how I build my mentorship. Because I had students last year, for example, and I won't say her name, but she had some serious anger issues, 7th grader. And she actually cussed me out 3 times this past year. But I said, you're playing soccer. Yeah. And then what I did was I said, we're going to take your anger. We're going to use it on the pitch the right way. You're going to be the protector, the guardian of my lead striker. Right. You're out there with her. You watch her back. And we built a great relationship. And so
that was the concept too.
Exactly. And that's what you just so eloquently stated. Yeah. We watch TV, all that stuff, play ping pong, but you needed a connection. And actually,
I needed the connection. I didn't have when I left. When I was in DeSales, I had that. Saying shout out to Lionel Lucas, shout out to Jamie, you know what I mean, and shout out to all the other staff members. Rest in peace, Riley. Rest in peace, Charlie Mumford. Rest in peace, Dobie. You know what I mean? And it's like them the people that kept me in line to do the things. You know what I'm saying? And then you had some staff members that picked and choose, and I felt like that's what my mom did with me. Yeah, you know what I mean. And then I had a flashback that brought that anger, that brought everything. But hip hop would really save me. Hip hop, the one that saved me. Every time you see me in the room, I was always writing rhymes. I was always beatboxing. I was always dancing. We used to be in the backyard. We used to do the Running Man and dance, do routines together. You know, that was an exercise, but it was also it was stress relieving. Yeah. You know, doing that. It was stress reliever doing that. And I wanted to tell my story in music. I knew I couldn't sing. I could hold a note, but I was in the choir. Yeah. And in school, but I couldn't actually sing. I can hold a note, but I can't, do a whole, song. But if I was like, I'm gonna use this hip hop to tell my story, but I didn't know what to do with it, how to do it, to put it on paper most of the time. But I kept trying and I kept trying. I remember every time I see you always had a rhyme for me, and they used to always boost me up all the time. Like, let me hear it. I get excited. You know what I mean? You was like, I was in school. I got done with my work. I just wanted to write a rhyme. And I remember to this day when you did the beat on your desk in your room, and you did the rhyme. That was dope, man. I was loving it. Yeah, you know what I mean. And that things like that kept me having hope for me in the real world. You know what I mean? Now after the group home, I want to ask you. After the group home, what was the transition after you left?
After the group home was a serious, tough transition. I did my circle of support, and then the plan was for me to move to Texas and to play, finish school. Soccer wasn't exactly the plan initially, so I ended up going to Texas A&M. University of North Texas. Mm-hmm. It didn't work out. I had some struggles there, and then I went to a couple different colleges, and it really didn't work out because of the mental health aspect that wasn't being addressed properly. But then I ended up in Laredo, Texas, at Texas A&M International, and I had played some soccer in some leagues here and there, but I was able to kind of help out and play a tiny bit there, a little bit of in the university. But I ended up finishing my undergrad and playing a little bit there, but while I was there, I got the help that I needed. Because throughout my transition from the group home on my own, I didn't have the consistent mental health counseling that I needed or services, and I didn't have a family because remember, I aged out of the system. I had no family members. So at the time, I was pretty much on my own. But once I got the right therapist who said, you have reactive attachment disorder. We need to go to your past, figure out what the problem is, figure out where those bonds were cut. Mm-hmm. Because a son needs their mother and father. We need people. Right. And I didn't have anybody. Right. And so once we were able to specifically look at my issue and see where the origins of the problem were, we were able to address what we needed. Then I had the soccer as the outlet. I had my education because I was a psych major. And then I was able to get my teaching certification. And then I started working, started teaching down there in Laredo, and then I moved to San Antonio.
Okay.
But it was, like I said, it was a lot of struggle. And then I was coming up trying to do the coaching thing on the side, but I was still dealing with a lot of issues.
Yeah.
And so the thing about kids in care, this happens all over the United States. Yeah, we have these great plans for kids after they leave whatever the system is in whatever state they're in, but we don't do enough follow-up because, as you mentioned, I'm a pretty smart guy. I'm always about I want to learn. I want to find out, why was I having these problems?
Yeah.
What was I doing wrong? Yeah, I knew the history, I knew political science and all of that, but I needed to know the psychology behind it. That's part of the reason why I was a psych major.
Yeah,
and then I was able to find the right therapist down, eventually. Dr. Jill Squires, I'll give a shout out to her. She's done a TED Talk. She was the one that diagnosed me with reactive attachment disorder. And then I worked with her. And then I found another, now in Laredo, I had Adriana. Her name Adriana Vasquez. She was amazing. And then she helped me. Then I had Dr. Squires. And then, as we'll get into me finding my family a few years ago, I got another therapist. Her name is Brittany Gold. Amazing. She took a whole different route.
Oh, no
That's
doubt.
the problem. The problem is that a lot of us, we have decades of problems after we leave the system.
That's right.
Because we have broken relationships growing up. We don't have modeling. We get into trouble, whatever that trouble looks like, and then we struggle through life. And so here I am in my 40s, dealing with issues that a teenager should be dealing with.
That's right.
And so once I was able to get the right help and the right focus, then things took off. And of course, I had the soccer that was consistent. And of course, I had the coaching and the teaching, but I had my personal life, like you talked about.
Yeah.
We're doing all these activities, but what about the connection? I didn't have those connections.
I thought I did. You know what I mean? With far as family members, I thought I did. But the years to come, me being in my late 40s, it seemed like now I'm getting it. Me having kids of my own. You know what I mean? And having issues. I have an autistic son. You know what I mean? I have an ADHD son. You know what I mean? And then, you know what I'm saying? Then I have my two daughters who's very educated, but also struggling with different mental health. You know what I mean? My oldest daughter is a nurse. She's about to graduate her RN. You know what I mean? And they're dealing with it in a different perspective.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because they know what I've been through. And I talk about my story all the time. Now, my question is to ask you, when you left the group home and went into the independent living program that I failed to get into because I got incarcerated.
Oh, wow.
You know, I got arrested, in the group home. And when I got arrested, that took me out of that program. But I was still cool with a lot of people that was in that program. Like, you know what I mean? Before I ask this question, I'm going to tell you a little bit about how I was connected to all my peers. All my peers from the system all hung out together because a lot of them went to that program. They had different apartments. I don't know what apartment building you was in the program, but it was a lot of apartment buildings they had for that independent living program. I stick around with them. They was going through issues, getting their GED or going to college or getting jobs. It wasn't a lot of jobs back then in the early 2000s. It was like that was a mini recession for me. But we all came together in a certain area in Allen and Elmwood in Buffalo. That was the hangout spot. It was so many people that was reaching out and sharing their story. But I attracted the people because at the time I was an MC, I was a rapper. So we used to always freestyle and we used to always do things. They always used to love the art. Everybody put the art in perspective to help soothe our lives. And I use that consistently in my life. And I still do to this day. And so for me to say all that, when you was in independent living program, how did that roll? How did that program help you? And also what was that program all about?
The supervised independent living program that I was in, SILP, through Gateway, what it was you had to be either working or in school or both. And they would pay for your apartment. The state covered it and everything. So I lived up on Main Street across from the Anchor Bar initially. I had a little apartment. My first roommate, I'm sorry. I mean, I'm not going to say his name because that's slander, but he was horrible. I'm sorry, my first roommate was cool. My second roommate was horrible. His friends were coming over, using my toiletries, going in my room. I was very frustrated. But I didn't know how to express it, so I just shut down. And so I was just going to work, going to school, working out and coming home and studying. But they messed that all up. I was trying to do my own thing and they were messing with that. And so when I finally threatened to leave, they finally switched me and my roommate. And so then they moved us closer to where the train goes underground on Main Street, where the old Tyco building is. They bought all those apartments. And
I have friends in that building.
Yeah. So I ended up there. I finished up at ECC City, got my associates. I was working at Tops.
What year was that?
This was oh my God, you're aging me. That was 1996, 1994, 95, 96.
Hey, because I have friends there, and I went to Job Corps or trade.
Yeah.
And when I got out of Job Corps, it was in 90. Got in there in 94, and then I got out in the middle of 95. I had two friends that lived there, Craig and Paul Pesca. You remember Paul Pesca? Paul and another girl, Kim Bryant, and also that was in Hopeville, and also another female I knew from Hopeville. And I used to always visit them. Yeah. And the guy that used to run it, I forgot his name. Good people, man.
Duncan.
What's his name?
Duncan.
Yep. Duncan used to let me spend the night because he knew where I was living with my mom on Best up the street, at the time. But I was always working. I had a small job, and plus at that time, I was on the street doing some things I ain't supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
As far as drugs and stuff. But at that time, it was so hard to maintain. So, but a lot of the people that was there, that was my hangout spot. You know what I mean? And I remember, and I did remember Duncan saying there was another housing on Main Street, and some of the people used to come down and visit their friends. The one girl stayed in there. She had a young little baby, and her baby dad used to come and visit. But the one girl had a boyfriend that stayed in the Main Street apartment once. He used to come down. Got the young man's name, but he was a pretty cool dude. But he had some issues, some mental health issues that was off the wall, on another wave.
Yeah.
But I understood it, but a lot of people didn't understand it. But I never was the type of person to talk about people. That wasn't my thing. But that was a good program. That's the program I was going to be in. But because I got incarcerated, they stopped that. And I moved back with my mom. And then I went to Job Corps.
Yeah, I was going there. I was just going there. And then I was going to ECC. Got because I went to Trocaire College first. Okay. Then I transferred to Buff State, and I actually had a tryout with their soccer team. Ooh, wow. And I didn't talk about it to anybody because it didn't go very well. Because I was a goalie, and it didn't go very well at all. So I tried out, and then I had a couple practices, and then I just said, you know what, I'm probably gonna have to come off the team. So I did that at Buff State, and then I went to ECC, and I was able to get my associate's degree in social science, and that's when I started learning more about psychology. Right. I didn't know that would be my major because I was just so interested in how the mind works. And I'm like, there's got to be more to all of this because,
that's right.
I mean, God bless them. The SIL program was cool, but I felt like I needed more. We need more. That's Mental health is something that there's not enough money put into it or resources.
That's right.
And so that's what started my journey on learning about the mind, and it ultimately ended up with here where I am now. Mm-hmm. And I'll say her name again, Brittany Gold, who took a different route. And she said, you know what? Yeah, talking about your problems and all that isn't enough. That's right. We need to build pathways in our mind because mental health is a brain dysfunction, a brain disease. Our brains need to be rewired. Back in the day, they would do lobotomies, right? Mm-hmm. We don't do that now because that's unethical. But if we build new pathways in our brain to help us deal with the stressors, there's things we can do. And I'm not talking about hooking us up to machines.
Right.
I'm literally talking about, writing with your left hand, because that's where your relationships are processed in the right part of your brain. Left hand, right brain. The crossing of the neurons.
Right.
All of those things. Learning how to do things with your left hand. Verbalizing things, because they talk about how if you verbalize something, affirmations. And so all of those things. But my journey started in Buffalo, and it brought me to here where I am now.
Yeah.
But my time at the supervised independent living program, it was crazy, because I was working, but my roommates were a little wild. My first roommate was wild. My second one, he was a good guy. I'm not going to say his name, but he was a good guy. And then I ended up aging out. And then, as we talked about, I got to Texas, and that's where everything kind of went crazy.
Yeah. Now, doing that journey in Texas and school, what was that journey was like? And also, did you develop other relationships? Did you build relationships as far as marriage, relationships, children, and that nature? You know what I mean?
Thanks for asking that. When I was in Texas, through my undergraduate years, there was a struggle. I went through a few different colleges, and then I finally landed in TAMU in Laredo. I talked about soccer down there, and I played some select elite down there as well. And then I got my my psych degree, and I minored in Spanish. And then I got my teaching certification. And then I was in Laredo for about 2 years, and then I moved to San Antonio. When I moved to San Antonio, I was teaching for a couple of years. I got married, and that marriage failed after 4 years, and I have no problem talking about it. We're actually friends. The reason why the marriage failed was because I was still dealing with my reactive attachment disorder, but I didn't know it. I was very aloof, didn't want to talk about things, didn't want to verbalize my feelings. I mean, she had her issues, and we probably weren't a good match for each other. I mean, she's a great person. Everybody's got their issues, but we just weren't a good match. But I was still teaching. I was assistant coaching and helping out on that end, but I was still dealing with my struggles. And then I continued to teach for about 7 more years. And then I ended up working for Child Protective Services. And working for CPS in Texas opened up a lot of issues for me, because I was seeing my own issues in other kids. And so that was very difficult for me. Did it for 4 years, made it to supervisor. It just got to be a little bit difficult for me. But then I got married again, and that marriage failed. We weren't a good fit. I'm not going to speak about her. I'll speak about me. I know for me what some of the issues were too much. And so the marriage ended. And so, but during that marriage, we did have a child that passed away. Her name is Vivien. And if you notice, the name of the company is Vivien FC Fitness, named after her. And there's a lot of mothers and fathers out there that have lost children. It is, I say this, it is the hardest thing you could possibly go through. I mean, losing a spouse is just as hard. Losing a mother, losing a father, losing a brother, losing a friend. Anybody that's lost, anybody that's meant something to them, is very difficult. But I felt that honoring her and honoring her life, the name of this company and the work that I'm doing, is the most appropriate way to honor her. We had a child, we lost her, and I'm still teaching and coaching, and I've been assistant coaching, and then I ended up getting a head coach position. Right now I'm in Seguin, Texas. So I'll be a head soccer coach at the middle school there, and the plan is for me to get my own program, and I'm actually in the midst of starting my own academy as well, a soccer academy.
Definitely. We're gonna go into a break, into a commercial break. We'll come back in the second half. Talk a little bit more our life, and then we're gonna get it right into some solid hip hop and everything and all of that. Right, Even Rush Network, man. This is a pleasure. You telling your story. I really appreciate you being vulnerable and really reaching out to, with your story, because your story need to be told. You know what I mean? And we're gonna talk more about this in the second half. But I'm so excited, so happy to see you, so happy to talk with you. You know what I mean? I always pray for you, think about you all the time. I talk to my wife about you all the time, and I'm always, you know, and the hip hop, you know, that's me. That's just an outlet for me. We'll get into that a little more on the second half. So we're gonna get right into it. Let me go ahead and take off this the background music and get right into the commercial break, and we'll be back in about 1 minute. No
All
doubt.
right.
No doubt.
Hey, what's up, you guys? It's your girl, Chrissy, here to let you know that the Evening Rush Network now has an app. Yes, an app, you guys, so you can stay connected on the go and watch all your favorite podcast shows. You can download the app at Google Play Store or Apple iTunes. So spread the word. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Also, if you're looking to start a podcast and really don't know how, well, hit us up at the Evening Rush Network at gmail.com and inquire about time slots, pricings, and everything you may need to get started. We got you. Join the winning team, the Evening Rush Network. And also, download that app. What are you waiting for? Get to it.
With y'all, man. Y'all see me out here. 716 is live.
Yo, shout out to 716 Live, man. Keep rocking on. You heard me?
Yeah.
What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Vet Green. Listen, we are live right now on 716live.com radio. Make sure you are hitting us up for the morning show every Monday through Friday. That is right, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right on 716live.com. Make sure you hit that radio button once you get there and give us a call, okay? Love ya.
If I'm an artist watching our show, how does one person figure out who their fan base is and then market to them effectively?
I think in order to market, you have to understand, number one, you must know the definition of the word. 2, you must know how to use that word in a sentence. And 3, well, I'm going to market could mean that I'm going to the grocery store.
This guy.
What does the term market mean? What is the stock market? What does market mean? Does market not mean to make money? So in order for me to make money, I have to be specific. Hence, what does the definition of marketing? Can you use it in a sentence? If you can use it in a sentence and you understand the meaning of it, then you understand the context of it. So in order for you to market, that would have to be specific. You cannot be specific if you don't have access to your information. Episode 1, cheat code 1. I don't care who you are, what team you have. If you cannot open the hood and look underneath and know what you are looking at, you don't know if your car can win the race. You hope it will win the race. You believe that if you get enough stickers on the outside of the car, it'll win the race. You believe that if you have the same gas as Dale Earnhardt and Ricky Bobby and the rest of these guys, that you will win the race. That's what you believe. Do you understand what marketing is? And that's what separates 99.9% of the people from the ones that aren't. If anybody can do marketing, there wouldn't be need for marketing agencies. There are people that are masters at marketing. You have people like Ogilvy, who was considered to be the godfather of marketing, the guy who took the Volkswagen Bug and made it a symbol of American freedom. I want you to think about that. This is a man who given the world some of the greatest marketing concepts. One of them is the only product that sells is the one that's advertised. How do you advertise if you don't know who you advertising to? So to not to correct you, but to put that comment on the right path, promotions is, hey, I'm over here. And marketing is, hey, you in the black hat, I know what you like. I got what you want. And in order for me to be able to do that, I have to have the information. So that's why I say it takes about 6 records to get your mapping right. That's why she says it takes about 18 months of consistent releases. Figure out a way that you can where you can hang your hat, but you're going to have to hang your hat, whether it's a song a week, a song every 2 weeks, a song every 3 weeks.
you know that it takes at least 4 staff of at least 5 people. That's at least 20 people all working independently to help one person achieve one goal. All of that requires information. None of those people wake up in the morning, come to the office, and do what they think has to get done.
Yeah, this your boy the Joke with Overlook MC, back on this second half of the show with my boy Coach G. You know what I mean? In the building, man, the motivational speaker, the coach, the hip hop historian. We're gonna get into a little bit of hip hop. We're gonna get into a little bit of my story in music, so you have to have an idea. Because I never talked about this any of my podcasts. I don't remember talking about none of this. I don't think you even know of this either. That I was
a little bit, not all the details.
Yeah, I was moved to South Carolina, and went there for traveling a little bit. I was pretty much running away from my problems. But I have a lot of good connections down south being there, even though I was going through my issues. But one thing I did do is get involved into the music industry. That was where I learned more hands-on in the music industry when I moved down south. That was doing the transition when the South got getting hot. I was there doing the transition when the South got hot.
Yes.
In 2000, 99 to 2000. I was there doing the transition. I was there doing the motions, and I met a lot of people every day from Atlanta, South Carolina, Florida, Tennessee, and North Carolina. So me to say all that, I did get a record deal. I was signed to Sony. And I was signed for Sony for like 8 months. And then the company that we were signed to was Sony, was the parent company. And then the regular company was Made Man Records. Then they lost the distribution deal from Sony and went to Universal. So I learned Sony's perspective as a label, and I learned Universal perspective as a label, and me being a music manager. I got involved in music management, learned about the business, learned about publishing, was certified to be in management with my company, LLC, and all that.
Wow.
Then from there, I was managing Flo from the Bad Girls Club. Those who watch the Bad Girls Club on Oxygen, I was Florina's manager on season 4. I managed her, and I managed Miss Mitra and a couple other artists out of the South Carolina area.
Yes.
I met a lot of people in the industry, from Rick Ross to Nicki Minaj before they got famous, to Trina. Real good friends with a lot of people in the industry, like Crying Mob. I know them guys. They real good friends of mine to this day. China White. Met, me and Lil Jon chopped it up plenty of times before he was Lil Jon, but he was an A&R for So Def. I met a lot of people in the industry, built relationships, learned the business, have mentors to this day that's in the industry and not in the industry anymore, that taught me the game on how to do the things I do now as a marketing manager. That's why my mentors is Pink Kingpin, who's also that was in that video, and Wendy Day. Them is my internet mentors. I follow, I subscribe to anything they got going on. I've learned so much about digital marketing, music marketing, and I teach a lot of companies, and I coach a lot of mentors, a lot of people in the game. The music industry is looking for, how to market themselves and make money in your sleep. You know what I'm saying? Get some of that revenue in your sleep. So I do that now, and I been working for myself for a year and a half now. Haven't punched the clock in a year and a half. Been working for myself.
Congratulations.
Heavy in the game. With the support of my amazing wife, you know what I mean? A heavy supporter in the game, and it's a big outlet for me and all that. So me to say all that, you know what I mean? My story right there, this is my first time telling this story on my podcast. I've been doing podcast radio now going on 10 years, and then I never talked about that. Never talked about me getting signed and none of that. So this is something new for everybody, and not just you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you do know that I came out with some projects you always supported. You know what I mean? And now it's time for you to interview me. How do you feel about them projects, and what touched you more on the projects that you had?
Yeah. Well. I want to hear more of your story.
Okay. The music part of it.
No, I want to hear about your story coming up.
Okay, coming up in the game. Well, I was in the household was my mom, single mom. She pretty much ran my dad away. Her lies saying he ran away, but me got a relationship with my dad. When I got older, I found out the truth, and it makes sense to me because I've been through the same thing with my baby mom.
Yeah.
So is grew up in the east side of Buffalo. Me and my sister. My mom was a single mom. She went to college. She was an artist. That's where I got my artistry from. She was always into music. I got into music because that's the only time I ever seen my mom happy. I've never seen my mom happy on any other occasion in my life, ever. Even to this day, when we did try to build a relationship, our relationship was always connected with music because she loved music. She had a vinyl collection out of this world. From Earth, Wind & Fire, James Brown, Bee Gees. She had rock, pop, soul, reggae music. So I used to always go through her vinyl stuff all the time when she was at work when I was little. I used to always play the albums. I knew she taught me how to put the album on the record needle and everything. So I was very influenced in music in my life. That was my outlet. That made me get involved in music because that's the only time I see my mom happy. So I wanted her to be proud of me as a young man. So I promised myself as a 3, 5, 6, 7, 18-year-old, I'm going to do music somehow, some way. I'm going to get involved in music. So I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to get involved in music because I want to see my mother proud. I want to see her happy. So that's what made me get into music. And I've been in music ever since. Shout out to everybody that's tuned in right now. The Coach G, he's saying Justin out there in Australia, mega fan, street team out there in Australia. He's doing this thing. He gave me a mega fan base out there. He's loving the music and everything. So shout out to Justin Newman. I'm saying White Boys Production in the house. Sydney in the building. You know what I mean? No doubt. I'm definitely going to take a trip out there too. You know what I'm saying? That's on my bucket list. You know what I mean? I'm definitely going to do that. But definitely, so that's what made me get into music. So when me and you had met and I got into the group home, let me tell you how I got into placement first. My sister left first. The people came. My mother was a very abusive woman. She abused me as a child. I never knew why, but she, now I know why now, but back then I didn't know why, but I still loved her as a mother. I never understood it, you know what I mean? But they came and got my sister, the people, the system. And me and my sister was very close at the time. And that really broke me real bad. And, I know you remember when the group home, my sister come and visit me.
Yes.
I just would visit from her, every 3 or 4 months, because she was in the group home also.
Yes.
And she went to Lock One High School. And so when my sister left and I got beaten very bad that whole couple weeks that my sister left. My mom beat me so bad that when the people came to get me, they took me out, they talked with me. And I told them I didn't want to go back. I said, I refuse to go back. I said, I'm going to run away. I was very scared. I had a lot of fear in my heart. And then when they took me to, I was hungry, they took me to, never forget, they took me to Burger King on Bailey. They ain't there no more, but they took me there, got me a Whopper and a meal, whatever. Yeah, ate good. And when I was eating, I kept on telling them, I don't want to go back. And they said, we're not going to bring you back. They made a couple phone calls. I remember it was a black lady and a white lady. And then there was some man came. I don't know if he was the lawyer or the guidance counselor or something. I remember he was a chubby guy with glasses.
He's probably the case. He's probably the caseworker that was going to remove you.
Yeah, because it was 2 ladies. I know the one lady was a white lady. You know what I'm saying? And she was very attractive. And then there was the black lady was there, and she the one that was pretty much talking to me more. I guess she was from where I'm from.
Investigator.
Yeah, right. So I spoke in fear. I didn't speak on if I was speaking for help. I was speaking more in fear. Yeah. And I didn't want to go back. That was my main concern. And my mom used to punish me and my sister, not just beat us, but she used to not feed us. That was a form of punishment. Like we come home from school, I get kicked out of school, whatever, and then we need dinner. And the times I didn't eat for a week straight.
That's slave. That's a slave mentality.
Yeah, right. So only time I ate when I was in school. Now the weekends was very rough for us when we was on punishment. She wouldn't feed us. So we used to always leave the house and steal. That's what caused me to, break the law as a young child, going to a Super Duper, going steal a loaf of bread, bologna, walk out. That was me. My sister just stole. I walked out. I was, I devo. I'm gonna eat. That was my thing. I'm gonna survive. I'm a survivor. I'm a tourist. Like you a tourist. We both tourists. We survivors.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So I'm gonna do by any means necessary.
Yep.
Like Malcolm X said, to eat.
Yeah.
No matter what it may be. If it caused me to go to jail, it was worth that sandwich to me.
Yeah, did the same thing when I was living I was living on the east side too, on Birch Street.
Yeah.
They would deny me food, and I, like you, I would eat at school, and then I would go to the 7-Eleven, or and grab some cereal and eat. I would get in trouble and get brought back. Same thing.
Yeah, yes. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't care if I was going to call. I walked out.
Right.
To this day, the police officer to this day drives the Metro bus in Buffalo, and me and him talked. He haven't seen me since I was a little boy, and I talked to him. And I knew he looked familiar. I told him my story, and it hurted him. And he was like, "If I would have known that, I wouldn't have, put that pressure on you."
Right.
Because he's very a religious man. He's also a preacher. And he felt bad about the situation. I said, "No, you good, man. That was back. That was in the past. I understand that you were doing your job, but I was definitely doing me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm very high stern. That's what tourists do. We're very high stern. We're in demand of anything that we are doing. No matter what the consequences is, we're going to succeed. If it's positive or negative, we're going to succeed.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's just our mindset as a tourist. So that was me. So when I left, I went to Compass House. I went to Compass House.
Yep. Compass House. I remember Compass House. It's still around too.
It's still around. Matter of fact, they own that whole block now. They have a Compass House campus on there with them.
Oh my God, are you serious?
Yeah, they remember it was a bingo hall right there. They used like a little church. Well, they bought that building and they added to it. Next door, they bought that house next door. They took the houses behind them and they tore them down as the parking lot for the facility.
Wow.
Yeah, it's real nice.
Because remember, I don't know if you know this. I don't mean to interrupt, but I want to know if you know this. Nash Group Home is no more.
Yeah. The person that owned that house. I'm gonna get into that. I'm getting to that. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying? But anyway, so it was like So I was at Compass House for like maybe I think it was a Compass House maybe a month. I remember it was February. I remember it was Valentine's Day. I remember it hit March, and I remember going to the St. Patrick's Day parade around the corner on Delaware. I remember walking there, and that's when it got warm. It was like 70 degrees. It was still snow on the ground, but it was 70 degrees, 80 degrees. It was real high. Still had a little breeze because of the snow. But it was real good out. When I went there myself, independent. So, and then around my birthday in May, that's when they sent me to Baker Hall. You know what I mean? It was on my birthday. We had a court date on my birthday.
Wow.
I remember they going in the courtroom. They were singing happy birthday to me, the court, the judge. You know what I mean? It was my birthday. And then and one of the once I found out it was my birthday, one of the I don't know if it was the clerk or somebody in the court bought me a cupcake. You never forget it.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Got me a cupcake and everything. And, she gave me a hug. And then they said, they told me I was going to a place called Baker Hall.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? And then when I got there, I remember being in the cells. I was in the sales couch yet, but I remember I was in that little office next to the cells, that big old round table, that little conference room. I was there, and it was mad people. It was every chair represented somebody. And I was kind of scared because it looked like something I seen in a movie.
Right.
And I was like, you know what I mean? Me being a young man, I was only like maybe 12. You know what I mean? Going on 13. And I just turned 12. My birthday's past. I just turned 12. To be exact, I just turned 12. And I was like, what is these people? And, different nationalities. And I was like, I was scared. And they had suits dressed up. And they was talking to me all nice. They was talking to me so nice, I got scared because my mom was always that stern, mean lady witch all day long. So I wasn't used to that. I wasn't used to the generous people that was, hi Franklin, how you doing? I wasn't used to that. So I closed. I wasn't, that was, how you feel when you ain't used to something, it looks good and it smells good, but it's something to that.
Right.
I didn't feel the vibe.
We didn't trust it.
Yeah.
Because our lives have taught us not to trust people.
Right. You know what I mean? And them being too nice was a red flag for me.
Yeah.
Me not knowing what a red flag was, me not being a person that was had a learning disability. You know what I mean? And all that. So that was an issue.
Yeah.
So I didn't understand. So when I finally went to group home and met my peers, and it was all older. At that time, it was a lot of older people there. I didn't fit in automatic. Because at that time in Baker Hall, they had more 16 and 7-year-olds at the time. I was like, I think I was the youngest person at that time that was there. I was the youngest person there. Everybody else was 15, 16, 17, 18. And then it was like 2 other kids came in there, and they was my age, so I adapted to those kids. You know what I mean? And they was real unfunctional kids, foster care. They had anger issues like myself. They mental illness. Now me thinking about it was way off the meat rack than what I was. I had a little more sense. You know what I mean? Even though I was, I had mental issues, but I knew that I had a little more sense than they did. They were just doing unnecessary stuff that didn't really fit me as a person.
Yeah.
But to fast forward everything, I was there for a while, built a relationship, learned how to be independent. Like I said, had staff members in there that came from the same place I came from that helped me through that. So when they finally sent me to group home, Nash group home, they finally sent me there. It was more independent living programs, more freedom, more outside stuff. That's what I needed. And then you came. I was there for maybe 6 months. I think you came in that September. Am I correct? Was it this September?
No, I came in June because it was June because I finished my junior year.
Yeah.
And I had a job at Perkins, and I was able to transfer my job from Geneseo, New York.
Yeah.
I lived in Geneseo, New York. I was placed in an adoptive home that failed.
Yeah.
In Geneseo, and I was able to transfer my job there. And so I worked that summer youth program. I worked at Perkins, and I had my job in the morning. So I was working 8-9 weeks, making money.
I know you do your thing, but now let me ask you this question: did you, even though you was in the foster care, did you come to Baker Hall to the after school program?
No.
Okay.
No.
Now, I know I just seen you around when I was in the sales, but you wasn't.
You saw me. I think you saw me because I was in Baker Hall twice, and so going backwards, I know I told my story, but I got to tell a little bit part of it.
Yeah. I know I seen you around. Yeah,
because I was in because I had gotten to go backwards. I had gotten placed. I was in Lancaster, New York, for a foster home.
Yeah.
Then I got adopted to a family in Geneseo, New York, from my 7th grade year to my 8th grade year. That failed. So then I came to the group home for the first time. You may have seen me the initial time, the first time. I was there from my 8th grade year to my 10th grade year.
Were you in South Park?
No, I was in Nash. And this was from 1988 to 1990 that I was there. Okay. And then I got sent to a foster home, which failed because I was having problems. I just didn't want to be a part of the family. It wasn't for me. Right. And so then I ran away, and then I ended up going back to Geneseo from 1990 to 1992 when The Chronic came out. Remember that. The Chronic came out, the Dream Team was playing. So then I come back in June of 92 to the group home because I went to Geneseo the second time. So I was in Lancaster, New York.
Wow. Yeah, I knew I was
Lancaster.
There for a while.
Lancaster, Geneseo, Buffalo, Geneseo, Buffalo. Okay. So
I knew I'd seen you around because I remember I was in the sales. I used to see you around. When we played sports against you guys.
Yeah, Darnell.
Right. And I mean, and that's when I remember my first time seeing you. You was going to it was like a recreational program at the gym. But then I really seen you when we played against you guys in soccer. You was nice. Like, you know what I'm saying? Nobody couldn't check you. Like I think I got kicked out the game that game. I think I got kicked out. You know what I'm saying? Because I was very, you know what I mean? Because every time I used to keep the ball, you know what I'm saying? I couldn't get it in. You used to block everything.
Yeah.
Then they put you at forward, and then you were scoring everything. I think you had like, I'm trying to remember the score. I think the score was like 17-5. Like
yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And you was awesome. So I seen that after I got kicked out the game. We played you guys twice. Second time I played the whole thing, and you came in late because I think you had after school program or something. You came in late, and we had the lead, and then y'all came back and beat us again like by 2 points. That was the closest game. It was better than that first game. I remember it like with yesterday. You know what I mean? You know, I lost a lot of my memory because of COVID, but I can remember those things. So thank God on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. Yeah. So you know, I know I seen you around, and then when you came back to the group, I was there for like a year. When you came back, and that's when we reacquainted. Like, you know, I remember you. You know what I mean? And then then at the same, you came in June. My birthday passed in May, and then that's when they gave you a gift because your birthday had passed, and they was like, your birthday was before mine, and that's when we found out our birthday was, you know, next week. So I think mine's the 13th, yours the 12th.
Yep. Yeah. Yes, sir. We're separated by one day.
Yeah. So and that's when we really got involved, and then and when you was bringing your stuff up in your room, I was I think I was pumping I was pumping on my rap. I was pumping some hip hop. EPMD, I think it was.
Yeah, because I'm a big EPMD fan. That's there's their song "You Got to Chill."
Yeah,
you know that song, right?
Yeah.
But they have a song in their another album in '92 called "Chill."
Yeah.
They took the hook from "You Got to Chill" and made another song out of it.
That's right.
The song "Chill."
Peace.
Yeah, that song "Chill" to this day, I swear to God on my life, it's in my workout playlist. I play it every time I work out. I play it in my car all the time. I hear that song. It's a 2-minute and 58-second song.
Yeah,
I listen to it every single
that's how
day.
When you came in my room. You was like, you got the EPME album? I said, yeah, and I had all of them. I had all. They had that's when they came out. We had 3 different businesses albums.
Yeah, Strictly Business, Out of Business.
Yeah, and I had the new album CD. I mean, that wasn't even CD; it was cassettes. And I had got the cassette, and you was like, you got the new album, and then you was like, let me hear the Headbanger. That was the video that came out.
Yep.
Yeah, you know what I mean. And then that's when I got into Redman at the time. That's when they introduced Redman on that track. And and then I was a Redman fan after that. But yeah, that's how we met, and then we've been tight ever since. And then you introduced me to Malcolm X, the Malcolm X book. And ever since then, I always had a hard copy of that book, and then we both. If I'm not mistaken, I think we both went to the movie to see that Spike Lee joint.
Yeah, we went to see Malcolm. Yeah, autobiography.
Yeah. So that was a good experience. So, you know, so all that time, you know, my story, group home, and then when I left the group home, I got arrested. Nobody knew I got arrested. I don't think they told you guys until like weeks later.
Yeah, I found out like a long time afterwards. Like I was like, what?
Yeah.
I'm like, my man? No, he's not even.
One of the staff members. I'm not afraid to tell the story at all. One of the staffers was brand new, and he went down to the basketball court at Avery Park where I was homeless at. And I'm looking to that story. And he told me to come back, and I said, I'll be on my way right now. And he was like, right now. I said, you know what I'm saying? I said, is it all right? I asked him, is it all right for me to finish the basketball game because we had game point? He said, fine. He went to the group home and lied and said that I refused. And they put me, you know, they had levels. They put me on house.
Yeah, I remember those levels.
Yeah, and I flipped out because you didn't tell me that. You lied. You know what I mean? And I don't know what was the situation. I could tell he was kind of racist. I felt that vibe. You know what I mean? And that I flipped out on him, and I beat him up bad. You know what I mean? I really did. You know what I'm saying? I feel bad about it. I shouldn't have did that. You know, but I really beat him up real bad, man. He had to go to the hospital and everything, and then I ran away. Was gone all day. I came back that night. I was at my friend Eddie's house, a good friend of mine, was doing amazing right now. Went to Eddie's house, stayed with them for a while. They even wanted me to spend the night, the mom and everything. I said, no, I'm gonna go back, you know, and face the music. So I didn't think I was gonna get arrested, get kicked out. I thought I was gonna be on house, you know, punishment, and leave it at that, and go through the motions like I'm so used to doing. And I got there, I went into my room, I played some music, and then, so you know what, the police officers came in my room and said, you breaking the store? I said, yeah. They talked with me and said, well, we're going to have to put cuffs on you. Can you stand up? I stand up, and put cuffs on me. They sat me down in the kitchen. We was talking, whatever. The one police officer, no, they didn't put me in cuffs yet, because the one woman police officer had the mace. And she was ready to use it on any cause. Like, I'm looking at her like, why? Like, I'm not doing nothing. I'm sitting here, leaning here. And she was ready to do whatever she was going to do. The one other cop had a club. It came out, and they was really going to Rodney King. That's the first thing came to my mind, because I remember about the Rodney King beating, and that stuck in my head. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That stuck in my head of police brutality. So, you know what I'm saying? I think the Rodney King was a little bit before that, but still, we used to see videos, and we used to always talk about.
Yeah, it was before that. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So, but that stuck in my head. And so I followed, put the cuffs on me, put me in the car, went to court. You know what I mean? The whole Baker Hall system threw me under the bus. You know what I mean? And when they threw me under the bus, one of the counselors, which you're good friends with, the group home, she was there in the courtroom, threw me under the bus. No remorse whatsoever. Didn't care. My mom came. They got to get home my mom, and my mom took me in, and I was scared then, because I don't know if my mom was a changed woman then, but she let me be freely. She let me do what I need to do. One thing she wanted me to do was get a job and finish my education. So that's why I decided to sign up for Job Corps, and I was already signed up. I was only on the waiting list. You know what I mean? And so that was in '93. That was summer of '93. That was July of '93. And then I was saying, and then I stayed with my mom from '93, and right after New Year's, that was my due date to get on the bus to go to Job Corps. Went to Job Corps. That was a good experience. Met some good people from New York City, because the hip hop. I met a lot of good people from Brooklyn. I'm still good friends with a lot of people. I was in the culture heavy. I was really happy to visit New York City. That was the best experience of my life. Being in the culture, learning things, met some people. But yeah, that was a real tough for me, and mentally very tough for me. You know what I mean? So do all that after Job Corps. I moved back with my mom's, moved out of her house. She helped me whatever she can. Moved out of her house, got into a relationship, moved in there, and then from there on, things went downhill. But that's when I was mostly on the street, homeless, in the streets of Buffalo.
Yeah.
And my son was born when I was in high school. My son was born that same year I left, that November. He was born. Joshua, he's 34 now. Living those one, he worked for the Buffalo Bills. You know what I mean? Got his own place, doing his thing. We don't have a relationship with his mom. But he's definitely, I know he's safe. Talking to his brother, have another son. See brothers, and then my son was also in Baker Hall. He followed the same footsteps through his parents, his mom, which is my baby mama. They did the same thing. He's incarcerated to this day. Going through the system, and it's different now. And I tell my son the time it's different, very different. It's not the same. That's why you're going through what you're going through now, because it's different. And then the system don't like me being in this case, because I know the system. I've been there, and I speak my mind. I'm very, very outspoken. Right. Yeah, in all areas. And they know that I'm feeling.
You have to know your rights. CPS, CPS or social services. It's not built for. It's built to destroy families. I know that they promote family, but they do it in a way that's offhanded and kind of deceptive. They don't give the support that you really need to keep the family together. They don't address the issues. They just say live together. No, we need to address the issues and learn how to interact, build relationships to be able to keep that family together. Because the family is the center, especially for us as Black people. They destroyed our families.
Yeah, and that's why the family never was a center of me. I forced it because that was instilled in me with my family. It was instilled in me with my grandmother. It was instilled in me from meeting people like yourself. And I tried my best for years, all the way until maybe 2014. I was done with family. My family to this day is people like you, people out in my podcast members, all my people that I'm doing, my wife, all my friends, my neighbors, people we meet. That's my family. You know what I mean? I can't go to my family for nothing.
Right.
They don't support what I do. They don't care what I do. I feel they don't care if I will live or die. And I'm cool with that. I've learned to deal with that mentally. I take therapy now to this day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I do therapy. I have therapy tomorrow, matter of fact, tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
And it keeps me where I'm at now. It keeps me together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It keeps me moving forward on what I do. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? To say all that, you know what I mean? Let's get into what we always love, is hip hop. How do you feel about the hip hop culture today?
I'm gonna take a deep breath.
Okay.
All right. I feel a lot of these hip hop cats that wanna get involved in hip hop, a lot of them aren't doing it for the right reasons. You are doing it for the right reasons because it's for the art form.
Yeah.
I hear these cats, NBA Youngboy. I hear this cat, and I feel as talented as they are, I don't feel like they're doing it just to make their money. I feel like they're not trying to advance the art form.
Right.
And I'm all about advancing the art form. Now, I know my limitations, and as far as my rap and all of that. So I know that, I can't do what you can do because you're incredibly talented.
Yeah.
But I know the spoken word part with the beats is probably the way I'm going. And,
Right.
and what I've done in some small projects that I've done.
Yeah.
But a lot of these cats aren't in it for the art form or finding their niche to promote that art form. They're just doing it just to make their money. They're talking about stacking money. They're talking about stacking.
Be a part of the machine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, And so it's very frustrating to listen to these guys on TV or on the radio. And I'm like, this is trash. They don't want Eminem to come back. They don't want that white boy to come back because they'll give it to him.
Yes. He's been, every song, this last album, he was speaking his mind. And shout out to Eminem because he put the Buffalo on the map. See, I got my West Side Gun hat on.
Yeah.
West Side Gun, Conway, and Benny the Butcher from Buffalo.
Yes.
He put Buffalo on the map. Signing the boys. We definitely is on the map now. So much good talent.
You're down with Benny the Butcher. And I was talking with a coworker about, because he's in New Mexico. I'm sorry, not New Mexico, Colorado. He's from New Mexico, but he's in Colorado now.
Yeah.
He was like, Benny the Butcher's nice.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm like, my homeboy knows him. My homeboy, the Joker, knows him.
Yeah.
And he's like, what? I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
I don't know him. I don't know him like that, but you know him.
I know him, Conway and West Side. I know all the boys. I know my cousin is part of BSF.
Really?
That's my blood cousin. And I also a lot of the other guys that's in the clique of BSF. I have two of my other cousins. One is incarcerated, duffel bag boy. That's my cousin, and you know what I mean. And my other cousin, the other one is not really my cousin, but his mom is married to my father. So I'm in different perspectives, but they opened the door for me to get heard. When I came out with the Haters album, I never put that on the platform. I did that all straight with how we used to do it in hip hop days in the 90s.
Yeah.
I sold over 10,000 copies of that album. You know what I'm saying? You have one of them. Yeah, you have. You know what I mean? That's a classic joint. I got a couple of them songs that I'm releasing on the platforms. But I have a story to tell. Between the No Fear mixtape and the Haters album was my story journey. You could hear it in my lyrics. I always have a story to tell. I have unreleased tracks I haven't released yet that I promoted, but still didn't push forward with it because of the paperwork part of it. I have a song called Baker Hall that I want to release. I got a song called Nashville. Also on my next project. My next project gonna be called just a kid from Buffalo, and that's the name of my next album that I'm working on, and I have different things in there that represents my story. I have a song called Pateco Gardens. I have a song called Baker Hall. I have a song called Nash Group Home. I have a song, my other song that was also part of the album but came out as a single called Friendship House. Yeah, I'm saying, you know, so that's on all the platforms, getting crazy streams right now. Shout out to all my fans who support. So I'm telling my story, and my goal, my goal and my bucket list. My bucket list is write a book about my life.
Yep.
And my bucket list is do a movie on my life.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I want to do a movie. I want to do a
and
series.
I'm right there with you because I'm in the process of I've been in the process of writing a book for 10 years.
Yeah.
It takes a long time to do it.
Yeah.
And, you know, self-publishing.
Yeah.
And getting our story told. And I wanted to jump on that point because there was that movie Antoine Fisher.
Yeah.
And it tells a certain perspective.
Yeah.
But I also feel that our story needs to be individually told because somebody said, well, they've already seen Antoine Fisher. I'm like, no, I'm not Antoine Fisher. His story is his story.
Right.
My story is my story.
Right.
Your story is your story. And everybody can benefit from all of our stories.
Right.
Because I say this about and I do this with my mentorship. When we share our stories and we put them out there, we might reach one person who is feeling like they are disconnected from everybody, and they feel like there's nobody out there that relates to them. Your story, the Joker's story, someone else has that story out there, but they are in a different position than you. You're in a position of power where you have so many fans that hear your streams and platforms. That one kid, he or she might be like, wow, I can be like that person. Right. Oh my God. And so that's why you're an inspiration. And that's why I want to hear. I'm looking forward to everything you do because you're putting Nash Group Home out there. We know about Nash Group Home. We know about the level system of how Ground House Limited.
Yeah.
I think it's 4 limiteds or something like that.
That's right. Yeah.
And all, you know.
Yes, right. That's right. We understand all that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we understand all that.
And I'm also a Nawapian brother too. I took up a Nawapian course in South Carolina, knowing about my heritage. That's why I'm a Nawapian brother by spiritual. I left the Christianity game because that was so washed up and so deflated. And also shout out to my Jehovah's Witness like yourself. I have a good friend that's Jehovah's Witness, and I've been following those tracks too. And they follow suit of Nawapian. So and I love that about and I wish I would have followed that with you. Then I think I would have a better mindset for my mentor. And you know what I mean. So I salute you being a Jehovah's Witness. I don't know if you still is or not, but it still fits the Nawapian nation of what we teach. And so me to say all that is that I have a better understanding on everything that I'm going through, musically, spiritually, physically. You know what I mean? And then, like to this day, I'm also like your coach. I'm also certified coach basketball. So but that was my first love besides music. You know what I mean? And and we we took that basketball very serious. You know what I mean? My son to this day talks to everybody in Lackawanna and Buffalo, and he always said that he could beat me in basketball, but everybody said in your father's in the prime, you never beat him.
Yeah, your game was nice. Yeah, your game was nice.
Your game was nice. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I played a little bit, but soccer was my real passion. Yeah. But your game is nice. And I tell people, no matter what your sport is, and actually, I want to throw this out there. I actually took up lacrosse 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Jim Brown played it. A lot of people don't know that. Jim Brown was an All-American lacrosse player.
Yeah, rest in peace, Jim Brown.
Yeah, and so I took up lacrosse because I wanted to learn something different to stimulate my mind. Yeah. I'm a left-handed shooter. I learned how to handle the stick and catch. And remember, the Buffalo Bandits just won the championship.
That's one championship. Yeah, they 6-1.
Yeah. They just won a championship.
That's right.
So lacrosse is the real deal.
Yes, yeah. Because that's one thing that made my game stronger. He was a power left-hander. You know what I mean? I always told my coaches, I always had Al Young, who's one of our coaches. They also was our counselor, Al Young. You know what I'm saying?
What does the name sound familiar?
He went to Buff State, played basketball with us, Buff State. Originally from Brooklyn, New York. He married Monica, McCutcheon. They divorced now, but his son's my friend on Facebook now, and he played ball, but he's more of a football player more than anything. He's definitely doing. He goes to Harvard University. You know what I mean? Good college, going in for a lawyer, doing his thing. You know what I mean? And a lot of and I took that basketball was passion for me, and I felt that if my education was right and I had a good support, I believe I could have went pro. That was my thing to go pro. You know what I'm saying? And get that support, but I never did. But I played street ball. Got a lot of respect in Buffalo on the street ball, and played with the best. You know what I mean? Played with Kristen Leitner. I played with Trevor Ruffin. I played with, when I went to go visit Syracuse. I played with, for the first time, when we went to go visit. I don't know if you went with us to go visit. I don't even think Mark Carroll went. I went with a whole nother crew. I was on a different program, and we went and I played basketball with Derek Coleman for the first time.
Oh, yes, Derek Coleman. I remember him.
Remember came out with the autographs? Yeah, I played 21 with them boys. Played plus 21 with them. And then that same year, Derek Coleman got drafted. And then I got his rookie card, and I always wanted to go back and get it signed. Because, you was a baseball, football card collector. I was, too. But you got into comic books, and I was really involved in that. Yeah.
And I still am. Notice the shirt.
Yeah. You always loved the Wonder Woman. I remember that, and and I know you hurt your heart that all different types of Wonder Woman movies that they messed up. And so I know you felt some kind of way on that one, because I know you.
The first one was good. The second one, the Justice League Snyder cut was amazing.
Yeah.
The Flash, I have mixed feelings about the Flash.
Yeah.
Good movie, but I have mixed feelings.
Yeah.
And they were talking about canceling the third Wonder Woman, but then there's talk that they're trying to get this. They want to have Gal Gadot come back for one more.
Yeah,
possibly.
They came out with a Wonder Woman movie never came out,
right?
Because with one with Angelina Jolie playing as Wonder Woman. You know what I'm saying? You heard about that one? Oh, you froze up on me.
Right. So what people? Back in the day, as Black people, we would sit around the fire, in our tribal days, and we would tell stories, as metaphors. Comic books are another way of telling stories, and I tell my students, whatever form that you can tell your story in, it means something. If you can tell your story with music and rhyme like you do, or you can tell your story in comic book form or an art form like you do as drawing. Those are ways to capture the hearts of people to help build relationships.
That's right. And so that's what I do, and that's what you do. And with your coaching, with soccer, with the hip hop historian that you are, you know what I mean. Before we get off, you know what I mean. We almost done. Now I'm gonna get involved into your inner hip hop self that we haven't talked in a while. What is your top 5 MCs of all time? I'm loving this one.
Okay, my top 5. Okay, so now my Rushmore is 4, but we're gonna go with 5. Yeah. I'm gonna start with number 5. I'm gonna say Big Daddy Kane. Okay. Big Daddy Kane at number 5. Okay. And then number 4, I would say Nas. You know I love Nas, right?
Yeah.
Number 3, I would say Rakim. Okay, Rakim. Number 2, I might surprise you on this one. Cool G Rap.
Oh yeah,
you Cool G Rap?
You ain't surprised me at all.
Cool G Rap?
Yeah,
Cool G Rap. And then number 1, I know you're gonna know who I'm gonna say on this one. KRS-One.
Yeah, you was KRS-One.
And the reason I put I put KRS-One at the top because he's a historian, and I'm talking about history, and he about Black consciousness, and he tells a story. So
yeah.
those are my 5.
My top 5 always been number 1. Always been on my list is Rakim. I played Sweat the Technique, that album, and check out my melody. The number 1 4-bar man of all time, and nobody don't touch this 4-bar. I take 7 MCs, put them in the line, and have 7 more brothers who think they can rhyme. But it's gonna take 7 more, but I go for mine. Now that's 21 MCs, 8 up at the same time. I haven't found that one rapper in history, even Eminem said that's one of his favorite. Eminem say he and all his punchlines, nobody would never beat them at 4-bar metaphor ever in the history of hip hop. And even KRS-One, he was like, he has a lot of them. He was like, that right there would make you go back to your inner self and throw away all the rhyme books you've written for all those years and start all over. So shout out to Rock. Rock has always been my number 1 man. I've seen him in concert 3 times. Never got a chance to meet him. I came close to meeting him when he came to Buffalo. Went to the show 3 times. And also, of course, my number 2 has always been Biggie because his story was similar to my story. Ready to Die story was almost similar to mine, and I love the movie Notorious. The way he did things, you know what I mean. So he's definitely number 2. Number 3 is going to be Nas, and number 4 going to surprise you. It's Jadakiss.
Okay.
Yeah,
I got some Jadakiss on my iPod, and I can see why.
Cause he never wrote a weak rhyme. He never ever.
That's true.
Every track he ever came up with, it's definitely phenomenal, classic. And number 5 always changes up from LL Cool J, Busta Rhymes, Cool G Rap. Number 5 changes up. Depends how I feel. And how I'm feeling today, I'll give it to Eminem.
Yeah, I was actually going to say that because I put Big Daddy Kane as number 5 on mine, but sometimes I'll put M at where Cool G Rap spot was.
Yeah,
because I like Cool G Rap from back in the day. Yeah, but Eminem. The white boy brings it.
And he tells the truth. He has a story. The 8 Mile movie was representing part of the story. He was come out with a series. 50 Cent was come out with an 8 Mile series under his new company. And I can't wait for that to come out of Eminem's story in the series.
Okay.
That's gonna be awesome. I'm a biopic fanatic. So there's a lot of good biopics I know you're gonna love that's in production right now. Like the Tribe Quest biopic is in production right now.
Yes.
Shout out to Dave Chappelle, he's behind that.
Yes.
He's the executive producer. Shout out to the Beastie Boys biopic. They have a Beastie Boys documentary is coming out, I believe, tomorrow on Hulu. It premieres tomorrow on Hulu. So I'm definitely gonna check that out. But they got a biopic movie that's in production. I think they just got done. It's in the editing right now. The MC Light biopic, played by Little Mama.
Yeah, I actually met MC Light one time. I used to be part of this program. I can't remember the name of it anymore, but it was on Main Street.
Yeah.
And we used to do community service. And MC Light came and rapped at Bennett High School.
Word.
Yeah. And I got to meet her. I got to shake her hand and everything.
Yeah, she's definitely doing her thing. Shout out to MC Light. And shout out to also Ja Rule getting a Lifetime Achievement at the BET Awards on the 25th. He's getting a Lifetime Achievement. Shout out to Ja Rule bringing that club music in the 2000s. Bringing that R&B club music. And I'm still in the culture to this day. Before I go, the top 5 hip-hop producers of all time.
That's going to be, I would say, because Jay-Z does produce, right?
Oh, he's a writer. He's an executive. Now he don't really make beats, but he's a writer, ghostwriter.
Because my list of producers, it changes based off of kind of like how I feel. Let me hear yours first, and then I'll give you mine.
Okay. Number 1 on my list is I've always loved his break beats and his cuts. The half of Gangstar Primo.
Oh.
Yeah, Primo. He kept me in the loop of rhymes because of his production. Stuff he produced, every rapper that rapped on his beats always he bring that stuff out of you. I gotta put Primo number 1. Number 2, people this producer get overlooked. Already overlooked. It's High Tech.
Okay.
You know what I mean? High Tech. Number 3, I give it to Kanye West. You know what I mean? He brought a whole different perspective in the game.
Yeah.
Number 4 on my list as a producer, hip hop producer, I gotta say Marley Marl.
Okay.
Yeah, Marley Marl. He did the symphony.
Yes.
You know, he did a couple of Nas on Nas Illmatic album.
Yep.
You know what I mean? He did a couple of joints on Biggie album. He's a phenomenal producer. Roxanne Shante, Juice Crew, Big Daddy Kane. You know, he the one behind the music of all that. Marley Marl. You know what I mean? But number 5 on my list, like I said, it changes up. It changes up in different ways. But number 5, I gotta go with Timberland.
Okay, I can get with that list. All right, let me go with my list because now that I'm thinking, I would say DJ Premier.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a big Guru Gangstar fan.
Yeah.
Speak Your Clout is on my playlist too with Chill, The Chronic, and Lyrical Gangbang. So that tells you. Okay. Marley Marl, number 4.
Yeah.
Kanye, number 3.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Dre, number 2.
Yeah.
Number 2. And number 1, Rick Rubin.
Yeah. Rick. People, that's another one. Rick opened the door on the rock and roll samples.
Yes.
When
I lived in the suburbs, so I used to listen to Metallica, Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
Because when I lived in Lancaster and Geneseo, I loved rock. You know, because when I went to Hutch Tech, they would make fun of me because I was like, rock and rap, they're married.
Oh man, I've been. You know, I had the Bon Jovi album on.
Yes,
on my cassette.
I went to the Bon Jovi concert 5 years ago.
I had Poison album.
Yes,
I had Guns N' Roses, one of my favorites. Faith No More is my joint.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Red Hot Chili Peppers is my top of my list. Red Hot Chili Peppers, you know what I'm saying. They got another album to come out this year. You know what I mean? Because I know the lead singer is battling cancer right now, so they got one more last album that they bring coming out. So you know what I'm saying? So you know, all the family still pray for him to recover and beat that. You know what I'm saying? F cancer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? But Red Hot Chili Peppers. Yeah, man. Yeah. You know, I played all types of music in my room. I was
I remember.
Yeah.
They used to make fun of me, and I'm like, y'all need to get your life together because I would listen to Metallica. Bon Jovi was one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Duran, Led Zeppelin.
Definitely powerful root. And thinking of Poison,
Skid Row. September
is Brad Michaels' value pick. It's going to be on Netflix.
Wow.
I can't wait for that to drop. Man, I can't wait for that. I mean, it's like so many things. Stairway to Heaven's movie Stairway to Heaven coming out Thanksgiving, which is that's Led Zeppelin, right? Stairway to Heaven,
right? Yep.
They biopic coming out on Thanksgiving in movie theaters called Stairway to Heaven. You know, man, I think I just seen the was it Brad Michaels? Somebody's I seen the somebody posted up on Facebook the trailer, and it's crazy. Them boys had been through hell. That trailer is very action. So I'm a biopic fan because I keep with the story because I like biopic stuff because I'm gonna do my biopic type of film that I want to put together in my book, and I want to get in detail. I'm not gonna leave nothing out. You know what I mean? Of everything in my life. So you know what I mean? So yeah, you know, good to have you, Coach G, man. We go way back. You always been my brother, man, and you know what I mean. You kept me focused. You always you're the only one that always gave me my flowers, man. Nobody really gave me my flowers, even my peers. You only peers I remember that always gave me my flowers. You know, and you never was afraid to emotionally tell me that. You know what I mean? It was real and it was genuine. Everybody else that told me that, I didn't feel it was genuine. But you was the only one.
Yeah, you're a real dude, man. I appreciate you. I consider you family. I tell people that's my brother, you know.
All day, you my bro. all day, man, all day. I'm saying I'm supposed to be moving to Pittsburgh in August, but I'm still gonna make way to visit. We can talk more after the show here. We can talk backstage after this. We don't have to hang up. And and I really want to really visit you and spend some time with you. And because you definitely changed my life in different ways you don't imagine. Because I never had that type of genuine love from another black man who came from where I came from.
Yeah.
Going through what you went through in your life. Can't wait till your book get done, and I'm definitely gonna support it. Buy it. I'm gonna buy 12 of them and hand them out to people and all that, because people need to know your story, not just on the podcast, but really in book form. And if you do a movie, I play the role. Pay me the role of one of your counselors. I'll play the role of one of your foster parents. I was in the movie Child Support on Tubi. Yeah. It's on Tubi. Since I got some acting skills a little bit, I've been taking
Okay.
Shout out to my man Anthony Whiteman out there down south, taking some acting classes, learning how to get my Denzel Washington on. You know what I'm saying? Get my Denzel. Yeah. Get my Will Smith on. You know what I'm saying?
Don't slap anybody.
Yeah, right. You know what I mean? Not gonna do that. I've grown where I'm at now from the experience of my life. Would I trade it for the world? No, because I like where I'm at now. You know what I mean? A lot of people say they would go back and change. And would you go back? Would you go back and change anything?
Nothing, because I was talking about somebody about that. The funny thing is that I wouldn't change my life because, number one, certain fates are inescapable. Okay, number one. Number two, the kids that I've worked with in my lifetime, I worked in Child Protective Services. We got some kids adopted. The people I've met along the way, I wouldn't change any of that, because the kids that I've mentored and coached would not trade that for anything. I'll go through it 100 times again, what I went through, because I've met some great kids. I met some great people, therapists, coaching, all of that. Wouldn't trade any of the relationships for anything.
Yeah, me too. I wouldn't change nothing. I keep everything the same. I met the people that I met in my life for a reason.
Yes.
I think a lot of people mess up in those areas because they always want to figure out why right away.
Right.
Don't figure out why right away. Move on, and you'll get the answer during your journey, and it'll make sense better than you want to know it now.
Exactly. Yeah. It'll be revealed to you when it's supposed to be revealed, because I found my family 3 years ago. I'm sorry, 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And I wasn't ready. I did 23andMe. Remember Sharon? Sharon was the one that said, do it. I did it. And I met my brother. Then 6 months later, I found out about what my grandfather did. And then I met my brother face to face. I wasn't ready. I was going through a divorce. And that's when I was ready, because I was open, vulnerable, and ready. And that's how I found my family. So
tell Sharon hi.
I will do that.
And tell her I made it.
I will.
Yeah. Tell her I made it. I appreciate you having on the show. You stay on, big bro. And
all right.
we up out of here, man. Appreciate everybody turning into Underground Lounge. And next week I have an amazing guest on the show. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be off the chain, more hip hop, more boom bap, more DJ and producers, and more people telling their true story and hip hop historians. And we see y'all on the next round on the Underground Lounge. It's your boy, the Joker, the Overlook MC. I'm out.